gonna break it. No, you broke it. Yeah, but I'm going to forcefully make you give it to me.
Okay, cool. So I was doing oh, yeah, okay. In the back. So you guys want to take the bull by the horns.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting.
I can do this light thing.
Like, I wasn't even gonna do anything until we found out that he was not gonna be here. I don't know if they were on the table. Yeah.
Yes, I say
I'm
bring
the only
it.
one that had it.
So do you want to just like, I think Ian must like slide his in. I know one of mine, or I know both of mine
I
slides.
know one of mine is 12, but I think mine's like.
We're going to start with the introduction.
Where you're from. Okay.
We can just wait. We got this, guys.
If you didn't have slides, we'll be back.
Alright, we'll stand up here.
We'll stand like, in front of Who's over here?
So like I just need us on that side?
If you
I think we're just good here.
Yeah.
if you want to just
You want us?
start.
Who wants to start?
I guess I can
Introductions?
start.
All right.
I'm Matthew, part of the Penobscot Youth Caucus. We're doing youth naloxone, which we're supposed to say Narcan curriculum.
Are we doing instructions first?
Yeah, introductions, like your name, pronouns.
Okay,
where-
I'm Kaylee. I use they, them pronouns. I'm part of the Kennebec County NERAP Youth Organizers. I think that's it.
Hi, I'm Sam, pronouns, and I'm part of the Washington Youth Caucus.
Alright, hi, I'm Addie. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm part of the Penobscot County Youth Caucus.
I'm Ash, I'm from Washington County Caucus, and I use he, him pronouns.
Hi, my name's Eamon, and that's it.
Hi, my name's Liam, and I use he, him pronouns. And,
You list first.
he's doing,
Go ahead, Kayla.
So what is naloxone? Basically naloxone is, well, brand name is Narcan, but it's a medicine that's used to reverse an opioid overdose by binding together the opioid receptors in our body and block the effects of opiates. Fentanyl, prescription drugs like oxycodone, I think that's how you say it. Hydrocodone and morphine. Myths about naloxone. Naloxone encourages people to do drugs. That's not true, it actually saves you. Naloxone prevents people from treating their addiction. Only medical professionals can use naloxone safely. Truth is, basically anybody can use it. It's pretty easy. And naloxone makes users violent. Facts about naloxone. Naloxone is safe for people all ages, including small children and animals in the case of accidental ingestion. There are 2 ways to give naloxone, nasal spray or injectables. And naloxone is the first step to helping someone.
So, oh wait, no.
No? I mean, we're kind of just winging it out. Fentanyl. Fentanyl is found in a lot of drugs nowadays, and it is a very powerful opioid. It virtually replaces heroin by the drug supply, and it is in about 80% of drug deaths. Can cause muscle
Rigidity.
rigidity, lockjaw, clenched fists, and wooden chest. Assume that it is in the drugs except cannabis. So just about anything that you can think of might have it in it. But despite what a lot of people say, you cannot overdose from touching it. A lot of people believe that you can overdose by just touching fentanyl, but that is not true. You need to consume it in some sort of way to have effects of the drug.
Powerful large animal tranquilizer, referred to as strength, added to fentanyl causes hallucination, can create severe wounds, is also addictive, and can impact OD response or overdose.
Alright, naloxone. It works on opioids and it kind of like knocks so say the drugs were on your brain receptor and it just like knocks it off. And it's 100% safe to use. It works for 30 to 90 minutes and it takes 2 minutes to start working. Keep it in 56 or 77 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's very durable.
Recognizing signs of an overdose. So people with like a lighter complexion could have like blue lips or fingernails. And then people with a darker complexion usually look like gray. If they have very small pinpoint-sized pupils, if they're unresponsive to voice or touch, if their skin is very pale or clammy, if they have slow or irregular heartbeat, and then slow breathing, gurgling, or wheezing.
Can you speak up, Sammy?
We recommend young people call 911 and ask, and if able, get a trusted adult to support them in helping always at the scene of the overdose, as this can be a very scary experience for young people. What to know about calling 911? Calling 911 is serious. Only call. What did I say?
In case of an emergency.
Don't be nervous. 911 operators talk to young people often. It's okay to trust an operator with your personal information. Be prepared with the address or any other identifying information so emergency responders can find you. Calling 911 can be very Calling 911 can be very scary for young people, and they have told us that they fear for their caregivers and friends. Recognize this is a very valid fear for many young people and their families. Maine has the strongest Good Samaritan law in the nation, and there is legal aid for those who are wrongly detained or prosecuted at the scene of an overdose.
The scene of an overdose. The first thing you should try to do is wake the person. You can do this by shaking their shoulders or yelling their name. The second thing you should do is call 911. An overdose is a medical emergency. Third, you should give the naloxone. Even if you aren't sure it is an overdose, naloxone won't hurt the person. Fourth, support breathing. Provide rescue breaths and CPR if you know how to. Finally, assess if the Narcan is working. It should be 2 to 3 minutes between and remember to put the person on their side. This is called the recovery position. It's very important.
At a scene of an overdose, Pinch your nose, take a normal breath. Place lips over mouth, blow until the chest rises. Pause for 1 second, allow chest to fall. Repeat. If you aren't comfortable putting your mouth on someone else's, you can use something like your sleeve to cover their mouth. If you are not CPR certified, do not provide.
Okay. At the scene of an overdose, try to wake the person, shake their shoulders, shout their name. Check for skin changes like blue, gray, purple. Feel for the heartbeat or breath. Some drugs like xylazine can make it very difficult for a person to respond or wake. So what that means is kind of like if they don't wake up, it's because xylazine is a tranquilizer, and it could make them very tired. So.
At the scene of an overdose, you should always call 911, and then after calling 911, you should always give them Narcan or naloxone if you are sure they're overdosing. If you don't have naloxone, rescue breathing will still help.
At the scene of an overdose, support breaths, like we talked about earlier, in CPR, and put 2 to 3 minutes between giving them Narcan.
Aftercare. Naloxone reverses can be brutal for individuals. Explain what happened. Naloxone doesn't make people violent or aggressive. Stay with the person until help arrives. Welcome back, you overdose. I'm so sorry, I did Narcan you. You are safe, you are okay. Naloxone, Narcan, whatever.
Aftercare for young people. Talk to a trusted adult to help process your experience. Make it time for rest, connection, and hobbies, activities you would enjoy. Etc. or example, reading, spending time with friends and outside. Access free and anonymous services in your area, such as local recovery centers. Call/text the main crisis hotline. Responding to an overdose and providing life-saving. Providing. Okay. Providing life-saving measures to family, friends, and members of your community is a traumatic experience. It's important to take care of yourself afterwards and seek support from family, friends, professionals, and other sources of support in your community.
Youth Resources Local Bangalore Recovery Network, aka The Barn, 142 Center Street, Brewer, Maine, 04412, 207-561-9444. Is that me, rap?
Yes.
Okay. Me Recovery Advocacy Project, Penobscot Youth Caucus, hosted by Bangor Recovery Network, Hanquist Substance Affected Youth Program, Mike Gregg, Program Manager, 207-852-7 7396 Joe Costello. Were we not reading this?
No, because those are Penobscot resources.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't, and the bottom one, you could read the state one,
Oh,
so.
state, okay. Maine Youth Action Network, Mayan. Maine Behavior Health Care Youth Peer Support statewide. The Youth Peer Support statewide network, severe youth ages 14 to 26 who self-identify with history of mental health and whatever that says, call 207-396-7052. Visit their website. The main crisis line, call, text, chat 1-888-568-112. NAMI Maine Teen Tech Support 207-515-8398. And then hours are Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And Saturday, Sunday, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern.
That's our slideshow.
That's our show, so thank you.
Questions?
Yeah, I've got something.
Yep.
And I apologize, I had to step out for a quick second here. I'm a firefighter, and with that, I've been on multiple rescue calls. I also teach first aid, CPR, and AED use at the high school level, and I've done that in the community as well. So I may have stepped out when you said this, but one of the things that's really, really important with this stuff is anytime Narcan is given, call 911.
We already said that.
You did say that?
Yeah.
That's extraordinarily important, and the reason for that is, of course, they just overdosed, and it's a life-threatening situation. But you might give them Narcan once, and they come out of it, but the opioid is still in their system, and the Narcan can wear off, and then they slip right into a second overdose. So if you don't have a second dose of Narcan, you could be in big, big trouble, and then you've delayed calling 911 because you thought, oh, they're okay now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Why do you turn them on their side?
What?
Why do you turn them on their side?
Because if they're on their, no. Hey.
Can I do this, Matt? Please, I've got to talk twice.
Fine, go.
Okay, one reason why laying them on their side is important and like putting them in the recovery position is so that they're kind of not just laying there, because if they were to vomit or something, laying on their back, that's going to get all in their face, it can choke them, and can cause a lot more issues with that. So same thing if they're laying on their stomach, they could suffocate. So you want them to lay on their side how they were, kind of, and I mean, we recommend this for the most.
Can you guys demonstrate the recovery position to us?
Yes.
Matt has.
That's you.
Okay.
That's you, man.
Do not give me as far as the time as you did last time. Please make this easy on me, please, Matt.
Well, you better show us what choking looks like if you're not in the position of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so we know what it looks like.
So,
Start choking. Start potential.
okay, so if you find someone who has,
This might help.
oh yes, thank you. That will help. So, once you find someone that
Is that the dummy?
Yes.
Yes.
Not real.
I'm not gonna actually, but no, if you find someone who you think has overdose, get your Narcan out. You're gonna wanna take it, I'm not gonna actually put it in your nose, but you wanna have it, I don't know, not all the way up there, but pretty up there, and spray it right in like that, and take it out when you're done, and, it might take a minute or two, but he might come out of it and recover, and that's where some issues start. After you've called 911, get them on their side and take his arm under his head and his other one out like that to catch himself from falling, and you're also going to want to have to do that with his leg too. This helps prevent any sort of rolling away, any sort of like, it just really helps to make sure nothing happens to him after he's been. No, you're not making this any better.
And there,
You
he's
want to, you know what? Yeah, there.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know if you want to add.
And don't move the foot forward because that's gonna make them go that way. Move it back.
John,
was shown how to do.
You guys did a great job. Thank you for showing us the recovery facility.
Except for Matt, who gave us a hard time.
Any other questions?
How do you do the injection?
Thank you.
Ejection.
It's intramuscular.
It's intramuscular.
So are you talking about the needle?
Yeah.
So you have to like find their muscle, I guess.
Not their vein.
Intramuscular, so-
Not in their vein, man.
Yeah, so like
either-
any like,
Anywhere where
I don't want to say it like that, but like any like fatty areas, I guess, like
where you would
arms, thighs,
anywhere you would
Yeah.
get a shot from if you went to the doctors, basically.
because you want it to have like, and don't you have to like
You
pinch
should,
the skin when you do it?
yeah.
You
Just
want
so-
to insert the needle like half an inch, right?
Yeah, we don't.
Our
it's-
group uses the intranasal
Intranasal.
most often, and we always recommend that for young people anyways. There's no needles. I know a lot of parents have expressed they're not comfortable with their young people having needles. So we use the intranasal most often, and that's what a lot of places like schools are going to have access to versus the intramuscular.
Yeah, they typically have a box close to the front of the school, and that has the nasal Narcan. It has a CPR kit. And
And it has two
Wow,
doses.
your school is
Yeah,
the
and it has
best.
2
We
doses,
don't
yes.
have. We have them in the nurses' station, or like not like the. It's not like in public eye view.
What else
I had
are-
a meeting with
What else
my
are
school for
schools
it.
doing, Eamon?
You said animal over there.
What else are schools doing, Eamon?
They're how do I put this? They're offering classes to teach young people how to use it. Narcan.
How did we get there, Anna?
From people at the teen center and people from MIRAP going to the state house and making a bill which is named the 1315 bill or law.
LD 1550.
Yeah, LD 1315.
What does that law state?
That schools have to provide a class that elective that teaches how to use Narcan.
Where's that law
That's
enacted?
weird because my school is at junior.
In Maine.
What state is that?
Man,
So just to clarify, LD 15 is the bill to bring mandatory elective Narcan training into all high schools in the state of Maine.
she's right.
Any other questions?
What class are most high schools using to provide that?
It only just began this school season, so a lot of schools, that's going to be up to each individual school how they choose. Our young people are hoping that they'll be invited into the schools to teach their peers. We've been doing that in the community in Penobscot and Kennebec.
Yep.
Kennebec for quite a few
Oh,
years.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember I did it, I think,
Gardner. Yeah, your
3
school.
years ago was my first time I presented in Gardner Middle School. And we went in, we did a slideshow, kind of like this one. We weren't allowed to like actually bring the Narcan in and show them or anything like that, but I basically took it into my own matters. And I put a picture of the Narcan and basically showed them how to use it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can say at Lawrence High School, as part of my CPR class, which is an elective class, so technically it meets the law because it's offered to students. That is one of the lessons I go over in there is drug overdoses, how to administer Narcan. And I even show a video of a girl, and it's from a police cam, who was overdosing and Narcan was administered, and kind of tells her story of addiction and recovery and ultimately what happened. And she did make it.
But yeah, the law just states that every school has to offer it, doesn't mean that people have to. And then it's, contingent upon whatever school district it is, they choose who they want to do it, like their school. See, so now he does it. I know that Lewiston, one of the schools in Lewiston just recently did it, and they contracted with like options out there, so they get to choose who they have to provide the service.
You had a question?
Yeah.
So are recovery breaths part of CPR?
No, it is
Okay.
not.
So if someone isn't, like, if they've overdosed and someone isn't breathing, we're allowed to do recovery breaths, just not CPR?
Okay, if they are not breathing and their heart has stopped, do CPR.
As long as you have a
You're
certified.
certified. But if they're breathing a little bit, do rescue breaths.
It's like if you find them
I think you
not
need a
breathing,
permit to do
that's when
rescue
you want
breaths.
to immediately call 911 because, well, I assume you don't know how to do CPR.
I know how to do CPR, but just not certified.
Yeah, you need to be certified to do it, and
Yeah, because I know the schools teach you.
yeah. But no, when you find someone
So
Professional.
that's what we passed. We were the ones that passed that, and they didn't get into that. For this, you guys did really good.
Yeah.
Want to talk about the Good Samaritan law too? That's what's all over our bags.
I see how it is. Anyway, the Good Samaritan law is if you're at a scene of an overdose and you call 911, you will be protected by law. And basically that means you won't be arrested if you're if you're trying to help the person.
The part that they were talking about. So this part gets confusing, but I just want to clarify so people don't leave confused. You don't have to be certified in CPR to administer CPR. It's just a recommended thing to say. If people don't feel comfortable, you don't have to. You should, if you feel comfortable, you can do it. You don't have to be certified. Like, there's no law. A cop's not going to come around and ask you for your CPR certification for administering it. The Good Samaritan law will protect you. You won't be in trouble. It's just a safeguard. Like, if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. If you know it and you feel comfortable, administer it while you're waiting for the paramedics to come. It's not going to hurt.
Well, and something else that'll happen too is 911 dispatchers are trained in telling you, walking you through how to do chest compressions. I'll just tell a little bit right here. I've done legit CPR on people 5 or 6 times, and every single time, stuff has come out of their mouth. I'm not putting my mouth on that person, unless I have a breathing mask to do that. And I have a breathing mask with me at all times because of that. But what can be done instead is what's called hands-only CPR, where you only have to do chest compressions, and by doing that, circulation, the blood is still circulating through their body. You're getting some oxygenated blood to their brain to hopefully prevent brain death. So when those EMTs get there in 5 or 10 minutes, or hopefully less than that, they can get over there, they're using the AED, they're using the breathing bag, and hopefully saving that person's life. But hands-only CPR is also an option in that. And they can walk you through that too when you call 911.
With an I had a question. With an AED, is it here and here? Because we did a training and I was just, because I know it's like different for kids and then it's different for adults.
Well, it's different for infants. If it's an infant, it goes front and back.
Okay.
Because if you put the 2 pads on an infant, the pads are going to touch together and then it's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
On a child or an adult, as long as the pads aren't touching, yep, you had it exactly right. Up here and down here, because what's the straight line between those 2 points? The heart.
The heart, yeah.
And that's what you want to administer the electricity to.
Should we put the AED on the heart or should we have it on opposite?
Nope, you do it exactly what the pad said. And AEDs, if you're using an AED, they're going to talk to you. They'll show you pictures right there about where the pads go. And every AED that I've seen, you hit the button, it's verbally telling you what to do. Yeah, and it won't shock the person unless you need it.
And it has a picture of like where you put them.
Bingo, exactly.
Sure, we should just like, if we're not CPR certified, we should just like let someone die.
No,
I know that sounds really
if
bad,
you
but I
are
was wondering if it was,
alone, like if
Good
it's a
question.
person in alone, do it if you feel comfortable doing it. I would say if you don't have a face mask, a sleeve will work. That's perfectly fine.
And you know what, a good way to remember it, like if you haven't been like taught to do it, is you know the song Staying Alive? It's like, yeah, you kind of like, you do chest compressions like to the beat of that song.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We have one more question right here.
So do you do the EAD? What is it called?
That's okay. AED.
AED first or after CPR?
As soon as you get one, put it on the person.
Wouldn't it take a minute though?
Yep.
If you don't have an AED, CPR with hands will also just work.
What an AED will do though is, if if you're doing CPR, CPR keeps circulation going. Most of the time, that's not going to restart the heart, but it keeps circulation going. It's the AED that can restart the heart or reset the rhythm to make it correct again. So let's say there's two of you. One person's down there doing CPR, they're helping that person out, another person runs off to get an AED. They come back, that person's still doing CPR. While a person's doing CPR, that other person can put the AED on them. And you can kind of work together to get that done. But if you have to do it yourself, still not a problem. Work real fast, get the AED on them, turn it on, listen to the instructions as it's going right there, and do what you can. All you can do is your best.
Right. Your Good Samaritan law protection.
Absolutely.
I wasn't sure because I know some people are like, don't do CPR if you're not certified. And I was like, well, if they're like about to die, should we just be like, I'm not certified.
And any help is good help.
And 911 will give you
Not exactly.
Most,
That's the reason why we always say.
most AEDs will have it like this. Will show you exactly what it is.
And even different AEDs, I mean, that's one, I think you got 2 or 3 types right there. But they all basically work the same way. Hit the button, turn them on, it's going to walk you through the instructions.
Oh, I have something to add to what you said about like if you don't know. So that's also kind of what the Good Samaritan law helps with, because like you were trying to help them, and even though you're not certified, it'll still, the law will still protect you from getting in any kind of trouble.
As long as you're not completely going off the rails with what you're trying to do, Good Samaritan law is going to cover you. For example, and I use this example in my classes, if a person's not breathing and you're like, oh my God, I think their throat is blocked, and because you saw in a movie somebody did a tracheotomy, and I'm like, I'm going to try that now. No way are they covering you on that.
That's not covered.
Yeah, you're not covered on that at all.
That isn't like
Yeah. You grab jumper cables because you're going to use that. No way are they covering you on that. That is completely out of bounds to do stuff like that.
Just don't do action movie type stuff.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Well, and one of the reasons that I think it's important for young people to have this knowledge is as a person in recovery who experienced an overdose, people who were around me at that time did not know any of this information, and they slapped me, put me in a cold shower, tried to cover me in ice. None of those are life-saving techniques and are not covered under the Good Samaritan law. Calling 911, trying to give rescue breaths and chest compressions, and following the direction of the 911 operator is what will keep you covered under that law. And Maine has the strongest safe Good Samaritan law in the nation due to the work by Maine Recovery Advocacy Project.
You.
How does the Good Samaritan law act in other states?
Great question.
No?
We
Okay.
really can't comment on
We
other
can't really
states.
comment on that.
It's all state specific.
Some
and-
states don't even have them.
Yeah, some don't even have them at all. That's why, like she just said, this is the strongest Good Samaritan law in the entire nation. We've been pretty
If I tried CPR in another state, I could have like legal issues?
It really depends on the other state's laws, yeah.
I don't know their laws, they don't want to give you legal
Yeah.
advice.
Do you live in Maine or do you live in it? So if, I would say stick with Maine's thing, and even if the state doesn't have the regulations of it, do it anyway. You're helping people. If you get arrested for literally trying to help people,
He's not a lawyer, by the way.
just know that he's a lawyer, Courtney's a lawyer. Just
Working on it.
But this is
He's working on
actually,
it.
what we're talking about is one of the reasons we encourage young people to always call 911 first. Even if you think you know what's happening, even if you've got Narcan and you've seen it, or naloxone and you've seen it before, young people should always get 911. I mean, we would say that to adults too, but especially for young people, to get 911 on the phone and let them know you've arrived at the scene of an overdose. That activates the Good Samaritan law for everybody that's there. It protects everybody that's at the scene of the overdose. And let them walk you through some of it too. And you're not trying to just kind of shoot in the dark. And I would do that in any other state. I would call another state and say, hey, I'm doing this thing, I found it, and let them guide you. That would be my recommendation.
you.
Okay, so does the Good Samaritan law choking. Is that?
Yeah, it should work.
If you're trying to help somebody.
So it's different Good Samaritan law.
Yeah.
The specific one that we passed is the scene of an overdose. There are different ones, there's different kinds. The one that we passed, we can always take accountability for that. That protects everybody at the scene that's rendering aid, and the person that's also overdosing too.
Yeah, another example could be, you're helping somebody out because they, I don't know, their car is on fire or something like that. And thankfully, you can get there and you drag the person out of the car, but when you drag them out, there's some broken glass and their legs get cut up a little bit and they're scratched up and stuff. But you saved their life. They can't sue you after and go, well, because of you, my legs are all scratched up now, so I'm suing. No, Good Samaritan law covers you for that because you gave them aid in the best intent you could without overstepping what's reasonable.
Are you an ambulance or a firefighter?
Firefighter.
Firefighter?
Yeah.
Would that go the same way in a fire or no? Like if someone's in a fire and you go into it, can you help them get out, but then they die? Would that still?
It would still cover you, but I would also say this: keep yourself safe first. And that sounds very selfish, but it's the truth right there. And I'll say it because of this: one person from my perspective, one person in a fire is awful. Two people potentially, because you decided to go in and try and save that person, and you get overcome with smoke, gas, the heat, and then you drop. Two people isn't double worse; it's exponentially worse. Because then I have to go in and figure out who am I going to help first. And now I'm pausing, I'm waiting, I'm going, oh my God, what do? It gets much, much worse.
Okay. What is in? Another question. What is in? Like I know there's like toxins and all that, but what is exactly in fires?
It depends what's burning.
Okay.
House fires, think about all the plastics that are in there now. You know, that flat screen TV right there is now on fire. It's all the plastic with that. It's all the metals with that. It's the wallpaper. It's this furniture over here that caught fire. It's the rug now that's on fire that's made out of all these different man-made chemicals and that kind of stuff. So that throws all that stuff in the air, not to mention it burns a lot hotter than just normal wood. So people can get overwhelmed when they breathe that stuff in. You know, that's why you guys have been told since you were in elementary school, go low to the ground. Smoke rises. So you go low and try and get out as quickly as possible.
Is there any more questions?
The resources you gave us are for recovery or more information, or?
It's someone help me with this.
All the above.
Yeah. If you, they were only up there for a minute. If you wrote some of them down, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Do you want us to go back so you can get like a picture or something of it?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, and those are, for everything, except for an overdose. If it's an overdose, always call 911.
Okay, move over here for a second so she can get a picture.
Wow.
Those resources
If you
are
need to,
really
you
great
can
if
come
you
up to
know
get a
somebody's
picture.
experiencing
Can
substance
you send it to me?
And then some of those resources we put on there because we do recognize that the person with overdose can be obviously traumatic for the person who experiences it, but for young persons it's especially traumatic and hard.
Oh my God.
So some of those resources are also for like the after support, needing someone to talk to and process what happened. So it's a combination. And you'll want to find recovery-based resources that are closer to your location specifically. I'm not sure where exactly you are, but a lot of areas have hubs where you can access those resources.
I guess from one of the students, I'd love to know, I looked at the bill, I did a little bit of looking at the testimony, and there were some administrators who said, oh, this is a lot to ask of schools to take this on, and they're already trained folks who use Narcan. From your perspective, why is it important that students in particular are trained in how to use Narcan?
Probably because it can save someone's life. It can save someone's life.
What if, rather than running to a nurse, what's helpful about a student being able to do it?
Because you don't know how long they have been out.
Yeah.
I think it's also very important to have it in schools because, especially nowadays, there's a lot more students using substances in like high school and stuff like that, and it's good for them to know in case they like walk into a bathroom and someone's overdosing or anything. Like it's good to know
Have it
what's
on
going
you.
on.
And have it on you.
I know, like, my school, I go to Bangor High, and the school is okay, but it also very, very sucks in some cases. Because I went to Butler, he's the principal, Mr. Butler, and I asked him, like, we were having a conversation about Narcan and all that. He's, like, the first time he was like, there's not opioids in this school, there's none of that stuff. But you also, even though they say they tested it to see if that stuff, you don't know what they're doing at home. They could be coming to school with opioids in their system, not even knowing what's gonna happen.
It's not just what happens in school. You know what I mean? It's after school, you hang out with your buddies. Now you guys are at the playground by yourself, no nurses, nobody's around. It's good. You go to Walmart, have bathrooms.
I mean, it makes complete sense to me.
I know, just wanna get
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, the testimony you probably read about people who had seen an overdose in their home, right? And when they're at home, there's no nurse to run to, and instead of feeling helpless and powerless, this gives them the ability to know steps to take that help them to not feel as powerless in that moment.
Tomorrow I'm leading the legislative tour and I want to be able to talk about this bill, so I want to hear your perspective, so that's really helpful.
Yeah. I don't know. From experience, my mom overdosed, and my dad had no clue what to do. And I think it's good that they're teaching kids how to do it because it's like they'll know how to do it when they're in a situation. My father didn't do it.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Do we have Narcan to give out?
Yes,
Where
that's what
can we get Narcan?
I was just gonna say that
Anywhere really.
for everybody, if anybody here would like one, we have bags here. Not only do they have a box of Narcan in them, they also have recovery-related resources from all over the state of Maine.
They have a box of Narcan, a flyer for the mobilized recovery youth groups. This is like step-by-step guide of what to do. And then behind it shows what the Samaritan Law is, pretty much. Kind of what was on the slides. There's a magazine.
Charity Magazine is a recovery-based magazine here in the state of Maine that tells a lot of like personal stories, community stories, and talks about a lot of
Resources.
Talks about knowing your rights.
And I just wanted to say, because unfortunately one of our young people can't be with us, when Penobscot, so Kennebec really took a lot of the lead on the bill, and when Penobscot took the lead on creating their own youth naloxone training, it was because a young person from the community joined us and said that they would much rather save their parent, have been able to because they lost their father. And so it was really important to them to be able to know how to use it. So that, that's something that we think about is how important it is for young people to be able to save their peers, their community members, their family members themselves.
Great, well, thank you for the work you're doing. This is
Well,
great.
and the great thing with naloxone too is, if you use it and it's not needed, you've done no harm.
Correct.
It will not negatively impact that person, but if you need it and you use it, you could have just saved the person's life.
You a lawmaker?
I work in the governor's office.
Oh, nice, awesome, thank you, good, thank you for being here. We worked with the governor in order to pass this, so I'd like to clarify that, thank you guys for your work. Gordon Smith also works with us
Yeah,
on a lot of our bills.
I work in the same office as Gordon.
I figured, yeah,
Yeah.
good friend of ours, awesome, thank you for being here.
And peers listen to peers better.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that we do with VRAP is it's the more peer voice, youth voice. They're tired of hearing us talk. They don't want the school nurse to do it. They want to hear from their peers.
Well,
Yeah, like if you're just sitting here, like, and people from your school, they have people come in, and you're sitting here listening to a bunch of adults talk to you. Exactly. You're not gonna want to sit here and listen to that. You're gonna want to.
I'm leaving.
You're gonna want to listen to people who have stuff in common with you, or are your same age, so they like go through the same steps as you. They have to go through the same process, and like
there's also
Yeah.
a feeling that people aren't judging you.
Yeah. And it's just because, like, nobody wants to sit there and listen to adults. It's just boring.
Not even me. Anybody want to get lunch though?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a wrap.